This is a jib winch. Jib is the sail that's on the very front of the boat. When you tie the sail down, this is what it ties to. There's one on both sides of the boat, but this is the starboard side jib winch. When a winch doesn't get used for a while, it gets very tough to use. It gets kind of locked up. This one is pretty locked up. It will turn, but as you can tell, I can actually stop it from turning one way, and the other way, it doesn't even click anymore. It just kind of does that. Not only that, it should spin when I do that. It should go like really easy, and it does not. Now, the other one, port side jib winch, I took it apart. It was the same way. I took it apart to make sure that I could do it. And after I took it apart and I fixed it, you can spin that thing freely, no problem. But today, because this decides to get all gummed up and everything, we're gonna take it apart and we're gonna see if we can't fix it. These particular wrenches actually have a key that takes the top of these off. And we have this key, but unfortunately, I couldn't find it. So I used my pliers. All I'm doing here when I take these parts off, what you're seeing or not seeing off camera rather, is I'm looking for cracks or any kind of surface cracks or anything like that that might show up. Of course, with all the gunk that's on this, it's hard enough to see. So I do a better inspection after I clean it. That is really gunked up. Look at all that junk inside that winch. I can't believe it worked or spun at all. Look at the gunk on those bearings. Man, that's bad. There's 5 or 6 screws here that actually hold the winch to the mount. All I'm doing is taking them out. Nothing special. Flathead screwdriver, number 10. Pops right off. There are 3 screws that hold the base onto the bottom and it hold all the gears in. These are 3/16 Allen wrench. At this point, this should fall apart. I should have no trouble whatsoever taking these parts off. I mean, my super duper karate chop didn't even work. So, grab the pliers. Oops, hit the camera. All good. Grab the pliers, start tapping. It's dessert. Now I got an attitude. Now I start hitting harder. Okay. Now I'm getting real with it. And it finally comes apart. What a mess. This is the one that doesn't click when I turn it, and I'm starting to understand why. These should literally fall apart. I should have no problem here taking these apart, and I've got to manhandle this thing. Just corroded, just old gear, grease, everything in it. These pawls don't even move. Those little flaps, they're called pawls, they don't even move. They're supposed to flange in and out. Yeah, that gear's dirty. No cracks. Again, I'm just looking for any kind of cracks or anything that might prohibit me from putting this back together. That grease is so old and so bad that it's actually white. That's just gross. There it come out. I pulled on this thing as much as I could. I even pulled on it a little bit off camera. I ended up having to pry this gear apart. This should never happen. No cracks, but that's nasty. This is the one that was actually making some clicks. You can see the pulse move, but see how that's delayed going back? That's not good either. Again, I'm just inspecting for cracks or any kind of issues that may come up. These here should just pop right off. I mean, these should slide right off. You should have no problem getting these off. I inspected this off camera and it is good, but those should roll freely and they should not like touch each other. They should have somewhat of a space between them. And there's all the young. And here's all the junk. All right, well, I guess it's time to fix them up. I looked online and I read over and over and over again, apple cider vinegar, Dawn dish detergent. If you've ever mixed vinegar and dish detergent together, you know that they have a reaction and it will actually start heating up. I put all the parts in here and I actually let them soak for a little bit and I started cleaning them up and it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. It wasn't taking anything off. So I went and got the next best thing. I went and got the mineral spirits. That was not a whole can. It was only about a third of a can. And this worked perfectly. As soon as the mineral spirits hit these gears, it started to release the grease. We took a little break to watch the manatees. And yes, that's a little baby out front. And so we're gonna take a little break here. This ended up being a way longer video than I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna make it 2 parts. This one here is very old. See all the scars? That green you see is actually algae that is growing on him. Really old creature. Still really beautiful. Bye guys. See you next time.